Ready? Okay, cool. I'm here with some two amazing guys from Cisco. Tell me who you are.
Hey everyone, I am Kareem Iskander. I lead technical advocacy for learning with Cisco.
And NetworkChuck. Hey everyone, my name is Joe Clark. I'm a 27-year Cisco veteran. I'm a distinguished engineer. I look after our continuing education program, and I love network automation.
Yes, sir. And that's kind of the name of the game now. So, Joe, we talked last time, or we did an interview. It was like the
It was
new
in
CCNA.
San Diego,
It was in
2019,
San Diego,
yeah.
Massive update to the CCNA.
Yep.
And now here we are again with AI.
Yes.
Automation was the big thing back then, but AI has come so fast. It's moving faster than I can keep up with, and it's what I do. So like, I don't know what's going on half the time. Tell me with the CCNA, how is it evolving with AI?
Well, the CCNA, like all of our certifications, we've had a chance to revisit the blueprint. We've added AI into that. So the CCNA, your junior network engineer, they still need the skills to be able to be fundamentally aware of what's going on in the network, but then they want to use AI. They should be using AI as a tool. So we've factored in awareness of what AI can do, use cases for AI, and most importantly, how to use it responsibly. How to think about, what am I going to do with this data? What am I telling the AI? What could I be telling the world? And then when it comes back, what do I do with that? How do I interpret it? How do I make sure it's correct? And then how do I make me more effective as a network engineer?
Do you find that students who are just coming into learning the CCNA, are they already using AI? Are they already familiar with it?
I think they're a lot more familiar than I was, and we've got this program running, this thing called RevUp. Kareem, you want to talk about it, the way to get these AI skills?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of, from entry to expert, what we've done is we've tailored our content to help everybody that's looking to get started with AI at every single step. So we talk about the CCNA, the NA level. We've written a set of tutorials that are available on Cisco U that will get you started with AI skills that are needed for the CCNA. What's the difference between predictive AI and agentic AI? Topics around being able to decipher wrong output from ChatGPT. How to use RAG with ChatGPT. These are all skills that you need at an entry level getting started with your CCNA.
Now, do you see that with, because I know many companies, they want to adopt AI, but AI still feels Wild West. Like, it's like, I don't know if I want my engineers touching that. So when you're teaching about the CCNA, do you see they're actually able to implement that and use it with their company's infrastructure? Or is that kind of like, just learn it and just be ready for it?
I mean, we talk about this all the time. AI is an assistant to what you do. And so you are the gatekeeper of what you allow AI to do or not do to your infrastructure. I think it's encouraged today to leverage that assistant next to you. I mean, you and I, when we first talked about automation back, 5-6 years ago, we were starting the whole DevNet thing, and we talked about, okay, so is automation going to change the way I manage my network? And is it going to take my job? And here we are. We're just talking about automation as a skill, as something that you should adopt as part of your tool set when you're working with your network. AI is the same.
I agree to a point. And I keep seeing people say this. So I remember when the whole automation thing hit, I thought the same thing. I'm like, wow, programmers are going to take my job. Like, what am I going to do? Like, I'm a CLI jockey. I don't know what I'm doing. But now AI feels a bit faster. It feels a bit more, it's a more massive change than I feel like network automation, just simply network automation was. Would you guys agree with that?
AI is moving a lot quicker, very much to your point. It is a much faster, it feels more exponential than anything else. But the thing about it is people are starting to find value in it. And your previous question, like are organizations willing to let a CCNA come in and just play with that on their infrastructure? Maybe not. It is a little bit more, let's play with it, let's learn a little bit more about it. But there are tools out there like Olama that democratize the ability to use some of these models, and they have it capability, GPU on your laptop. My Mac, my M4, whoa, look at me. My M4
can
Mac,
run anything, man.
It's got a GPU on there. I can put some of these models on there. I can play with that technology. I can show my boss gets it, but as a CCNA, I could show my boss, this is what we can do in a safe way. This is a local model. Look at some of the value we can get. And I'll tell you my personal experience. I just started a project for a group I work with, and I turned on Copilot in VS Code. I'm like, this isn't so bad. I was actually very impressed with some of the value I was getting out of some of the code generation. So I'm seeing that value, and I want to encourage people to keep, again, responsibly playing with it, understanding it, and seeing the value they can do. The other day, we were talking to some of our CCIE advisory council, and one of the questions to them was, what is the thing that, what would you sell a human for in the world of AI? And the thing I said is innovate. The human is still going to be there to innovate. The AI is that tool. Kareem said it's going to augment, it's going to enhance, it's going to make that human a lot more efficient, a lot more able to get to the time to be more valuable. Just like automation, it's going to allow them to think about the next big thing and how they incorporate that next big thing into their network.
Okay, and I would agree. I've been asking people, that's kind of like my theme of this Cisco Live, asking, what are you guys using it for?
Yeah.
Are you excited about it? So would you say overall that you guys are excited about AI? Are you optimistic?
I can tell you that I touch AI almost daily for almost everything I do for work. If I'm writing an email and I want a feedback on how it sounds, I would use our internal AI instance to be responsible. AI is huge, right? To get feedback on it, but also while writing code. So we talk about Agentic AI, we talk about MCP. You've seen, I'm sure you talked to John Capobianco about all of the MCP work that he's doing. When we talk about automation and we talk about how AI is moving fast, well, AI is actually dragging automation as quick as it is.
Okay.
And so some of the things that are happening with Agentic AI today with MCP servers, integrating, LLM into your automation, not beyond just, bringing in Copilot into your code to help you as you write, but also opening up those network APIs to the LLM, so you can do things like configuration, drift, self-healing networks. You can start having agents watching what's coming from your data set and being able to make decisions on the fly for you. That is super powerful.
It's amazing.
And it's going to change the way that we code for the network.
I know, when I share the same sentiment. When I start messing with AI and imagining all the things I can do, the APIs opening up, the MCP, you can literally do anything you want. But do you often find yourself you've automated something very cool, and then suddenly you're like, did I just do what I normally do? Am I automating myself out of a job? What am I going to do if AI is doing all of this? And I guess let me rephrase it like this. In 5 years, what do you think the role of a network engineer or IT engineer will look like? Are we going to be in the CLI? Are we going to be just simply managing a team of agents saying, configure my network, or tell me what's wrong, I saw something go down? What do you think it's going to be like?
That's a really hard question to
I know,
answer.
I'm asking you to look into the future.
Because if I could tell 5 years from now, I could actually predict the lotto, and it's just
Dude, AI can help us predict it too.
There you go. But I think it's somewhere in the middle. I think the mundane tasks that we do day to day are going to go away, which means I don't need to SSH into a box. I don't need to look at what's going on with my network that way. I'm going to probably have an agent that do that for me. But we talked about this, automation, whether before AI, you were supposed to do that anyway, right, with automation. Do I think we're still gonna touch the CLI? I think at some level we will. It's gonna probably be augmented with AI built into the terminal, which I think it's out there today, where you have your CLI, you have an agent on your terminal that's helping you with commands.
Yes.
I don't know most of the iOS XE commands, and I can't tell you how many times I go out to Cisco Docs or I go out to Google to search for it.
Yeah.
Now it's there. So it's gonna speed up. It's gonna make me have superpowers as a network engineer. But I don't think it's gonna make me obsolete, to be honest with you.
So, and I totally agree with you. If it's used in the right way, how do you keep AI from making you atrophy your skills?
That is a great question. So there's a few things we can do. We first have to recognize that that's a possibility. And we have to say that think of AI maybe like as a book, as a way of educating me, is a way of finding, Kareem said it, like I don't know everything out there. AI can not only tell me the answer, but these newer models, these reasoning models, they can explain it to me. And if we think of AI, if we treat what's coming back as AI with a little bit of skepticism, making sure it's accurate, but also once we find that this could be right, and we look at the sources that are coming up with, we're acting as a sponge to pull that information in and recognize that our skills could atrophy, we're still going to have to keep educating ourselves, either with what comes back from the AI or continue doing what we've always done and just have that thirst for knowledge and continuous learning. Because it's not, AI, I hope, isn't going to be the death of humanity. It's not, I'll be back. It's not going to be, it's not going to be the Terminator. Instead, we're still going to see things. We have quantum coming around the corner.
Yes.
There are things that we are going to have to continue to learn, continue to integrate, continue to adapt. And I think AI is going to help us get over a lot of those new humps more quickly, but we're still going to have that mindset. I want to keep learning. And that's why we're here. That's why Kareem and I both love what we're doing at Learn with Cisco. We want to keep learning. We want to keep offering and looking what the skills are that people need and offering ways for them to learn those skills.
And so I would say, and I totally agree with you, I would say the CCNA is still my favorite certification of all time.
Thank you.
People ask me what's the gold standard? What should I go for? Get CCNA. I don't even care if you're going to go into hacking or go into whatever. If you have the CCNA, you can get a job anywhere in IT, at least entry level. That's going to be the best thing. Now, with how AI is changing things so rapidly, I mean, MCP, A2A, A2C, I can't keep track of all the acronyms. How is the CCNA going to be able to adapt quickly enough with everything that's coming out? And I know you kind of mentioned the rev up thing. Is that kind of the solution, or do you plan to rev the CCNA more often? Or am I asking something I shouldn't know?
This interview is over. No, we're not necessarily changing the cadence yet. We might have to. Right now we're at a yearly cadence, but you hit on the one thing. We have tried to make recertification something that is less about continually passing exams and more about what are the skills I need to stay relevant, and let me go and get continuing education credits so I can recertify with those new skills. And that's part of the rev up thing you mentioned. We've got an AI rev up running now, the DC AI AA, which is about automating AI infrastructure. So we see some of that. The AI we've got in there now, I think, reflects where we are today. But in a week, literally in a week, because the keynote's tomorrow, we're going to see more things. We might have to start speeding up some of these blueprints.
I think there's also the skills that you need beyond the CCNA, and we're aware of this. So once we get into core certifications like the automation core and the enterprise networking automation concentration, these blueprints are evolving.
Okay.
And we've recently announced the change of our certification, the DevNet track being renamed to automation. As we are calling these the track automation and the announcements that we've done with the changes of some of the certification, we're keeping in mind of today's skills in today's market, and we are updating some of the blueprints that we have to reflect that. So when you're studying for it, and you're looking to, let's say, go for auto core, you should be expecting to see some topics around AI that are relevant at a professional level for you to automate the network with MCP. So we're conscious of it. And like I said, these are skills in today's market, and we want to make sure and ensure that when you get hired, you know them. So you'll see some of that trickle into beyond the CCNA as well.
Okay, now with the CCNA, obviously you want to start teaching students how to use AI. Like you mentioned, you don't have to be looking up Cisco commands anymore.
Right.
AI can help you. How do you teach people, along with memorizing technologies along with the CCNA, how do you properly, I guess I'm trying to figure out a way to phrase the question. How do you teach them to use AI and then make sure they're using it right? How do you have a CCNA exam that's measuring if they're using AI effectively along with troubleshooting a network?
That's a good question.
So this is something Kareem mentioned. We're doing these blueprint exercises last week now, I guess it is. This is one of the things we came up with, we thought about. One of the ways we think we can do this, well, first of all, we might have to reconsider how we evaluate exams. So in the real world, you would have Google, you would have ChatGPT. Instead of doing a lot of multiple choice memorization, like you just said, imagine if your exam allows you access to an LLM, allows you access to a search, and instead of multiple choice, you're dropped onto a web portal for Meraki, or you're dropped into a CLI, and you actually, when it says configure, when it says implement, you have to configure, you have to implement. The second part of your question is towards how do you get them to think critically about what AI is coming back with. We think there's an opportunity to present them with artifacts, like this is the topology diagram of the network, these are the configurations of the network, this is the prompt, and this is what the LLM said. What do you think is the right answer? What do you think is the most accurate response the AI has given you? And if they've studied, if they've prepared, if they've played with some of that LLM with something like Cisco Modeling Labs in a simulated environment, they should be able to answer that. They should be able to say, you can't do that interface there. Or it says we're not allowed to run this protocol on our network, so I can't trust that answer. It has to be this answer.
Okay, so it sounds like you're teaching just a little bit of prompt engineering with networking. Okay. Now, are you guys going to coin the term first? Are we now going from vibe coding to vibe networking? Or is it vibe ops?
Oh no.
we played on vibe net DevOps.
That's a mouthful.
It is, and I think it's not going to happen. So.
Okay, awesome. Well, I think we covered a ton of cool stuff about the CCNA. I still think it's the best certification. I still recommend it as the thing, and it's cool to see that we're evolving and changing it to be using AI. Now, I have this photo I want to show you guys.
Okay.
It's a meme that's been running around X or Twitter. Do y'all still say Twitter or X?
We don't say it.
You don't say it at all. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. There we go. Okay, so it's this like whole bus thing. On one side, you have the guy who's like, AI is going to destroy half the jobs, and he's very sad about that, which that's like if you have the mentality that AI is going to take all jobs. On the other side is the guy who's like, oh my gosh, AI is going to take all jobs, no more work. Where would you guys say you sit on that bus? Which side?
I would say for me, somewhere in the middle, maybe towards the left a little bit, where is AI going to destroy half of all the jobs? I don't think so. There are some jobs that are going to change. And are going to be automated by AI. Agents are going to take place. We our G2, our president and chief product officer, has said that 70% of code is going to be written by AI in 18 months or something like that.
It's pretty aggressive.
Yeah, and it's really aggressive. Does that mean that you're going to be out of a job? No, but some of the things that you used to spend hours on writing, now you can just hand it off to the agents to take care of it for you, so you could actually focus on things. And I want to say this, and this is something that we overlook often, which is humans, engineers, network engineers have this thing that AI doesn't have, which is critical thinking. And so you built your critical thinking skills from learning, from troubleshooting networks, from experience, right? That AI does not have the capability to do that critical thinking skills.
Yet.
Well, sure. It's very fair. But on the same account, when, is it going to take my job? I'm not so sure. But it's gonna free me up to do other things, and then I'm gonna become smarter because I'm gonna be learning more as I have more time to do things now. What do you think, Joe?
So, to quote the Oracle from the Matrix, there is no spoon. I disagree with the
premise.
With the premise, I think so. The adage I heard a lot last week was, AI isn't going to take your job, but someone who knows AI might take your job. So for me, and this is something I've been guilty of some skepticism. For me, my advice to people isn't, don't worry about AI taking your jobs. Run towards learning towards learning AI. See how AI can make you better, can fix the nagging problems that you don't like to do. See how AI will work for you, and then you don't have to worry about that. Instead, you're still providing value. You're still the best person for the job.
Okay, that's a good answer. I love it. Well, I have plug time. What do you guys want to plug real quick? You got 30 seconds, you go. Timer's on.
I'm going to plug the RevUps again. I'm going to say, if you want to learn new skills, if you want to do it for free, if you're certified and you want to keep that certification, go and look, do a Google search for Cisco, RevUp to research, find what's out there. We are doing relevant skills that you can stay up to date, keep your certification.
And for me, if you don't have a certification and you're looking to get into certification and you don't have a subscription for Cisco U at u.cisco.com, head over there, sign in, and we have some great free tutorials and free content for you to get started with. Whether it's a certification, it's technology, or even AI, there's plenty of learning for you to do and check out.
Okay, awesome. And I lied, I have one last question.
Okay.
With AI, how things are changing so fast, degrees versus certification, what's your opinion? Colleges can't keep up. That's my opinion. But I want to steer you.
I'll defer to Joe on this one.
Oh man, Kareem ran.
That's a career-limiting move. This is a career-limiting move, Joe. Certification, maybe we're going to have to get to the micro certifications and do things a lot more rapidly. But for me, certification isn't an end. It is the beginning of a journey. It's the skills that you need. So don't think about what it is, what piece of paper I need. Think about it, what do I want to do and what do I need to learn?
Would you recommend a degree right now, or Cisco U?
Cisco U.
Easy one, okay.
I mean, we don't have a football team, and I like college football. That's the only thing I might say there.
Okay, awesome. Well, thanks, guys. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, NetworkChuck. This was great.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
And that's a wrap.